Have you ever noticed this weird contradiction in yourself? When something goes wrong, really wrong, you don't panic. In chaos, you get clear. You get practical. You start solving. Other people spiral, freeze, or fall apart. And you become the one holding everything together. You make the calls. You handle the emergency. You stabilize the situation. And from the outside, you look strong. But then later, when the danger is over, when everything is quiet, your body collapses. You crash. You can't think. You can't sleep. You get irritated at tiny things. You feel numb or suddenly emotional for no obvious reason. Sometimes you even feel depressed and you don't know why. And you start asking the question that messes with your head: why am I falling apart after it's over? Here's the answer. It's not weakness. It's delayed nervous system processing. Today I'm going to explain why it happens, what it means, and how to keep your ability to stay calm under pressure, without paying for it afterward. In episode 1, we talked about traumatic intelligence. The hidden skills people develop when their nervous system grows up in unpredictable environments. You become hyper-aware. You read rooms. You sense shifts. You plan ahead. You solve problems fast. One of the most common signs is this: you become an exceptional problem solver under pressure. But here's what most people don't see. That calm isn't always peace. Sometimes it's a survival strategy that helped you function when you didn't have another choice. And when your system is trained to function first and feel later, you can look stable during the storm and then collapse when the sky clears. If that describes you, stay with me. By the end, you'll understand why your body stays calm during chaos, why it crashes afterward, how that crash shows up mentally and physically, and 3 specific moves to recover faster without losing your edge. And near the end, I'm going to give you one distinction that changes everything: calm is not the same as regulation. Part 1: Why you're calm in chaos. Let's start with what your body is actually doing. In a threatening situation, your nervous system doesn't care about your long-term happiness. It cares about survival. Most people have heard of fight or flight. But survival responses include more than that: fight, push back; flight, escape; freeze, lock up; fawn, please, appease, manage others; and shutdown, collapse, dissociation. Here's what matters. If you grew up around unpredictability, emotional instability, conflict, chaos, or constant pressure, your nervous system learned a simple rule: when things get dangerous, feelings are a luxury. So instead of breaking down in the moment, your system becomes efficient. It does what it had to do back then: scan for the next problem, calculate the safest move, protect others or manage the environment, stay useful, stay controlled. Your mind becomes a command center. You focus on tasks, details, and outcomes. And because this pattern got reinforced again and again, you became good at it. That's why emergencies can make you feel strangely alive. Not because you enjoy disaster, but because your body recognizes that state. Chaos is familiar. Sometimes chaos is the only environment your nervous system knows how to operate inside. So in crisis, you don't collapse. You mobilize. But there's a price. Because your nervous system doesn't delete emotions. It postpones them. And postponed emotions don't disappear. They wait. Part 2: What the crash really is. Think of your nervous system like a bodyguard. When danger is present, the bodyguard steps in and says, "Not now. Keep moving." That not now is the key. Because during stress, your body produces chemicals that help you function. Adrenaline to mobilize. Cortisol to stay alert. Tension to keep you ready. Focus to keep you precise. This is your system doing its job. But once the crisis is over, your body tries to come down. And if your system has been trained by long-term stress, it doesn't come down smoothly. It drops hard. That drop is what you experience as the crash. And it can look like exhaustion that feels like your bones are tired. Headaches, jaw tension, shoulder pain. Stomach issues or appetite swings. Insomnia, waking up at 3 a.m. Irritability, snapping at small things. Emotional numbness, feeling empty. Sudden crying when nothing is happening. Brain fog, forgetting simple tasks. Wanting to isolate and disappear. The crash is your nervous system finally feeling what it couldn't afford to feel during the emergency. You weren't fine. You were functioning. And now your body is processing the bill. Part 3: Why you don't feel it in real time. Here's the part people rarely say out loud. Some people don't feel their emotions in the moment because they learned that feelings were unsafe. Maybe growing up, emotions created consequences. Maybe if you cried, you were punished. If you got angry, you were ignored. If you showed fear, you were mocked. If you needed comfort, you were told you were dramatic or weak. So your nervous system learned, don't feel right now. And it replaced emotion with function. You became the person who handles it, fixes it, keeps the peace, stays composed, doesn't need anything. That strategy might have kept you safe back then. But in adulthood, it becomes a trap. Because when you're always postponing emotion, your body becomes a storage unit for unprocessed stress. And stored stress doesn't just sit quietly. It leaks. It becomes anxiety. It becomes overthinking. It becomes fatigue. It becomes shutdown. It becomes burnout. So if you're the person who stays calm during chaos, you're not emotionless. You're delayed. Part 4: The most important distinction. Now listen carefully, calm is not always regulation. Sometimes calm is shutdown. They look similar from the outside. But inside, they are totally different. Regulation feels like I'm present. I can feel what's happening, and I can still function. Shutdown feels like I'm disconnected. I'm going numb so I can keep moving. Shutdown can feel like robotic, detached, blank, I don't care, emotionless, far away from your own body, like you're watching your life from the outside. And here's the problem: shutdown doesn't solve the stress. It pauses it. So when the pause ends, the stress returns louder. That's why you can be calm in the emergency, then anxious in the quiet. Because your system wasn't calm. It was off. And turning off helped you survive, but it also guarantees a crash later. Part 5: Why small things trigger you after big things. This is where people judge themselves. You survive something major and then you lose it over something small. A minor criticism. A cold tone. A delayed reply. A small mistake. A random inconvenience. And you think, what is wrong with me? I handled the big thing. Nothing is wrong with you. That small thing didn't cause a big reaction. It unlocked a big reaction you were holding down. Here's a simple way to understand it. During crisis, your nervous system is at 90% capacity. After crisis, you're still at 70%, but you expect yourself to be at 0%. So anything that adds 10% feels unbearable. You're not overreacting. You're overloaded. And if you shame yourself for it, it gets worse. Because shame tells your nervous system you're not safe even with yourself. So you spiral. Not because you're weak. Because you're exhausted and your system is trying to protect you. Let me ask you something. When you're in chaos, do you feel unusually focused? Unusually calm? Emotionally distant? Like you're running on autopilot? Like you'll feel it later? And when later arrives, do you feel tired for no reason? Numb? Irritated? Unable to sleep? Suddenly emotional? If yes, you're not broken. You're experiencing a nervous system pattern that makes perfect sense. Now let's talk about what to do with it. Part 6: 3 ways to recover without losing your edge. You don't need to lose your ability to stay calm under pressure. That ability is useful. But you do need to stop paying for it with your health. Here are 3 moves that work because they speak directly to the nervous system. The 60-second debrief: process the emotion before it becomes storage. After a stressful moment, even a small one, pause for 1 minute and ask, what happened? Facts only. What did I feel but ignore? 1 or 2 words. Where do I feel it in my body? Jaw, chest, stomach, shoulders? What do I need right now? Water, breath, movement, space. This is not therapy. This is nervous system maintenance. You're telling your body, we're not storing this. We're processing it. Most people skip this step. That's why their stress becomes chronic. Discharge the stress physically, complete the stress cycle. Your body prepares to fight, flee, or stay alert. That creates energy. If you don't release that energy, it turns into anxiety. So give your body a 2 to 5 minute stress discharge. Walk quickly. Shake out your arms and legs. Stretch your jaw and shoulders. Do slow breathing with a long exhale. Even a short cold splash on your face. The goal isn't performance. The goal is a signal: we survived. We're safe now. The long exhale matters because it activates the calming side of the nervous system. You're literally teaching your body to calm down. Stop calling the crash weakness. Language changes recovery time. This is the most important one. When you crash, don't insult yourself. Don't call it lazy. Don't call it pathetic. Don't call it failure. Call it what it is: delayed processing. Say, my system is completing the reaction. Because when you name it correctly, you stop fighting it. And when you stop fighting it, it ends faster. What keeps people stuck isn't just stress. It's stress plus self-attack. Stress shame equals burnout. Stress understanding equals recovery. If you live through enough chaos, you became the one who holds it together. The reliable one. The capable one. The one who doesn't need help. But hear this: being calm in chaos is not the finish line. It's step 1. The upgrade is learning how to return to safety without needing to collapse first. That's what regulation is. Not just surviving the fire, but coming home without turning into ash. You don't have to abandon your strength. You just have to stop paying for it with your nervous system. If this video explained you, comment the word, so I know I'm talking to the right people. And if you want episode 3, it's about the most dangerous strength traumatic intelligence creates. Why you feel safer doing everything alone, why trusting help feels unsafe, and how that slowly destroys relationships. Subscribe if you want that next. You're not weak. You're trained. Now it's time to train safety.